This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Hill, and today we're going to be talking about symptoms of shellfish allergies. Shellfish allergies are among the most common of food allergies in the United States, affecting up to 2% of the population. Normally we see them in adults, but they can affect children as well. Obviously, a shellfish allergy is going to occur after eating shellfish, but remember, not all shellfish actually have shells. Squid and octopus can cause these allergies, and they don't have shells at all, but more commonly we see it with shrimp, crab, oysters, mussels, clams, and other mollusks, including even snails, that people might eat. Most shellfish allergies are relatively benign. You can get stuffy nose, you can get swollen lips, you can get vomiting, diarrhea, or abdominal pain. But some shellfish allergies are life-threatening, causing a reaction called anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis occurs when the patient has difficulty breathing, the blood pressure may drop, they may get a very fast heart rate, and they may lose consciousness. Anaphylaxis is best treated with an injection of epinephrine, and if you're somebody who's ever had anaphylaxis, you should never be very far from an epinephrine auto-injector or an EpiPen that you can carry with you wherever you go. It doesn't take a whole lot of exposure to shellfish to cause an allergy in a susceptible person. Even a minute quantity of fish paste or powdered shellfish used as an ingredient in another dish can cause that reaction. So if you have shellfish allergies, carefully check labels and menus and ask about anything that you're uncertain about. So, remember, shellfish allergies are common. They're frequently relatively benign, but occasionally life-threatening. If you have the life-threatening kind, be sure and have your EpiPen with you at all times. Talking about symptoms of shellfish allergies, I'm Dr. David Hill.
From the ashes of when Disney animators were allowed to add phallic symbols to their drawings, it's Scraping the Vault. Scraping the Vault is a podcast about straight-to-video Disney sequels. Joining me as always, you know her from San Diego Improv. She always keeps her hands and arms inside. It's Audrey.
Hey, hands and arms inside.
And you also know somebody else. I'm waiting for the ching.
Okay. There it is.
You know him as a master of education. Hey, he's 0.6, baby. It's Dan.
I'm almost a full person. Yes.
He's point. Oh, let's not go there. Hi, everybody. It's Scraping the Vault.
Let's not. Wait, is that? No, that's not 3 fats. It's a little above 3 fats.
Yeah.
What do you think fish say? How do fish say hello? Do they do like fins up to you, top of the fins to you, wave,
bright fins,
nice to see you,
ocean.
Ocean.
No, that's it.
Okay.
It's nice to see you, but they have to spell it every time.
Yeah, SEAU. I'm on a seafood diet. I see food and I fish
eat it. Bright fins to both of you.
Bright fins.
I see you.
I see you.
By the way, Ariel's mom is Ariel with green eyes.
Crazy how that works.
Yeah.
Did you know that
Genetic.
people with red hair have they like process drugs better or something? That's a crazy
Or they
fact.
have a lower pain tolerance or
That's what I've heard. Yeah. Well, some. Not
like
dyed red hair.
Yeah. No. If you put them if you try to use like dental work pain stuff, they need like 6 times more of that drug than the normal person.
Conan O'Brien talks about it a lot on his podcast that, like they have to shoot him up with Novocaine like you said, and they're mostly Irish and they don't get drunk, you know?
Huh.
By the way, for someone who dresses teeth for a living, I would think you would know Novocaine.
Never heard of it. I don't know. I don't touch that stuff.
Well, it's not a cosmetic thing. It's more of just it's like a surgical thing.
Right. I use Ben Nye or like Meron or, Mac, Estee Lauder, Charlotte.
Nye, the science guy.
Charlotte Tilbury. Max Factor, NARS. Sephora. Well, that's just a store where you can go buy teeth products, but I go to Sephora. Ulta, that's another store.
Ulta Beauty. Yeah.
Correct.
Sally,
tooth store.
Sally Beauty Supply.
I don't like shopping there. It's always super weird energy. It's like one of those Halloween superstores where they don't play any music. A Party City. Have you ever shopped at a Party City? They're the opposite of a party when you go inside.
Yeah, there's no music.
It's so disturbing. It's like liminal space.
It is really quiet
vibes, and I can never find what I'm looking for.
Claire's Boutique.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't count.
Claire's,
no.
Yeah.
That's accessories.
That's a supply store, right?
It's accessories.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
They probably sell little like lip balms or something, but
glossy.
It's more like earrings and hair things and
tooth
bracelets.
Yeah.
Right.
Tooth earrings. Hi, everybody. It's Scraping the Vault. Welcome back.
Let's talk about airplane food next. Isn't it?
What's the deal? We watched we watched Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might think it's Little Mermaid 3.
It's
and
not.
It was at some point.
What?
But according to the Disney Plus, it's not Little Mermaid 3.
Well, because it's not a sequel.
It's a prequel.
It's and a very necessary one, I must say.
So many gaps. It's like the Rogue One of this straight-to-video sequels.
You liked it that much, huh?
Yeah, that's right. So many unanswered questions with the first movie. They're like, how did music come into this kingdom?
Right. What we need is an entire movie about that one guy with the helmet that Darth Vader killed. That's
right.
Yeah.
That's right. And they're like, you know what? Do you think King Triton's original name was Von Trapp?
Of course it was.
This is The Sound of Music, Little Mermaid edition.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Sorry.
Yeah, Audrey, go ahead. It's your turn. You had your hand
like
up.
if you had, it's like if you made Fiddler on the Roof, but before you made Fiddler on the Roof, you're like, here's how music was invented and why people are singing. It's just,
to me, to use the Fiddler on the Roof analogy, it's more like you go to see Fiddler on the Roof and you're like, oh, it's that song that I like. And then like 3.5 hours into it, you're just like, oh, it's Fiddler on the Roof. I forgot that I'm signing up for that.
For all of this, for the song that you like, there's a lot of songs in there that they're not good.
Right. Anyway.
And by the way,
yes.
Jump in the line. Do they know land music?
There's a lot of.
Okay. All right. Anyway, sorry, Dan. Go ahead. This movie came out.
It came out in 2008. And I looked at the events that happened in 2008 and I thought, none of that is very fun or interesting. Instead, I'm going to tell you about a little short film called Guinea Pig, Mermaid in a Manhole. Audrey,
that's a title. I don't.
Oh, well, this is part of the Guinea Pig series of films, which was a series of really, really awful, by awful, I mean well done, but like brutal horror films from Japan. This is Mermaid in a Manhole. Here's the plot. An artist whose wife has left him still paints most of his time. He ventures into the sewers to gather inspiration on macabre images. The artist finds a mermaid in the sewer and recognizes her from before. The mermaid was trapped in the sewers after the river disappeared. The artist decides to draw her from now on. Once he notices that the mermaid is hurt, he takes her home with him and puts her in a bathtub, just like Splash. He tries to help her, giving her medicine, just like Splash.
Does it say just like Splash, or did you add
I'm adding that. Oh, damn. The mermaid reminds him that he should draw her, as that was his mission. The artist starts drawing her.
Did you say you should draw me like one of your French girls?
That would be great. He tries to, let's see, the artist starts drawing again, but stops when she gets worse and decides to take care of her, cleaning her and giving her fresh fish for food. The mermaid gets gradually worse and worse, and her body is slowly taken over by boils. The mermaid reveals that her body contains 7 colors inside her, and she wants the artist to cut her boils and collect the colors. She knows she has little time left. Once he has all the colors, the artist resumes the painting, trying to match the ever-changing looks of the mermaid. Mermaid's condition worsens, and worms start crawling out of the boils. The painter, thinking she died, resumes the painting, behaving erratically. The mermaid recovers for a moment, but still wants the artist to paint her. The artist finishes the painting and promises to look after her now. But the mermaid asks him to kill her. And that's Mermaid in a Manifold.
I mean, that's kind of the same movie
it's
we
very
just
similar.
watched.
It's extremely similar, yeah.
So you know what else came out in 2008?
Yeah, Audrey, go ahead.
Tell us. What came out in 2008?
Little Mermaid 3, Ariel's Beginning.
Oh,
Let me tell you a little bit about it. This animated direct-to-video musical fantasy comedy drama adventure film.
Oh, great. Here's what I thought it was going to be before I read the title again. Because in the chat, it was just like, we're watching Little Mermaid 3. And I was like, okay, great. This is a sequel from the last one we watched. Here's what I thought. People are turning into mermaids. There's like a secret talisman that needs to be replaced or destroyed to stop the villagers from all being turned into sea people. Ariel Jr. is going to fix it because it's partially her fault for some reason. The villain is a good guy using the main character's guilt. He's in disguise. And the villain wants to be
Pat Carroll, of course.
Perfect. The villain wants to be the mayor of the land and sea. Like, he's power hungry. So, I mean, I think I got most of that. And then I read the title and realized it was Ariel's Beginning. And I was like, well, that was a waste of 2 minutes of my life. That didn't take too
That would have been better. That would have been a better movie.
It would have been a better movie.
Would have been cool.
And it's not too late.
Okay.
So this is touted as a musical fantasy comedy drama adventure film.
I mean, everything but the last word is true.
Drama?
Adventure?
Film.
Or film? Disney Toon Studios, animation production being done by Toon City Animation Inc. and Disney Toon Studios Australia. We'll come back later in the show. This film is a prequel to Disney's 1989 animated feature film, The Little Mermaid. This is the third installment of the Little Mermaid trilogy and the last direct-to-video sequel after John Lasseter took over as chairman of Disney Animation Division.
So he saved us, but he did other things that we aren't happy about.
Let's just put it this way: he hugged the direct-to-video sequels. They went away. Anyway, they did that for
he gave them that old Lasseter hug.
Right. It is also the first in
the around the neck.
Audrey, are you familiar with the story of John Lasseter?
I know.
Are you familiar with the story of Darth Plagueis?
He and Pete Docter did a lot of good movies, right? John Lasseter was on Incredibles and like
he was the head of Pixar Studios.
He's a big fan of Hawaiian shirts, and
he loved Hawaiian shirts, and he ended up taking over like Disney Animation Studios altogether. He got involved in Imagineering and that sort of thing. Got involved in the parks.
Have you seen that documentary about Nickelodeon? Because there's
oh my gosh, yeah, the
no,
kids.
I have not. The Diddlers. So I think I'll skip it.
You've heard of the term Me Too?
Yes.
He's kind of the poster boy.
Oh.
Of sorts. A lot of unnecessary, unwelcome hugging.
He killed the women and the children because he hated sand.
That's right. That's right. He is the Darth Vader.
I see.
Anakin Lasseter. Anyway, it's also the first in the chronology of the story running through the series, and it is based on the fairy tale The Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen and the Little Mermaid animated television series.
It's based on characters.
Which ran for, it's true, it is based on characters. It has nothing to do with Hans Christian Andersen in any way.
I wanted to run through a Triton while watching this.
Yeah.
Run because it was bad.
It was directed by Peggy Holmes. This is her feature directorial debut. She will return in the Tinkerverse.
Oh boy.
Be forewarned. The film's story is set before the original film, where Ariel is still young, and when all music has been banned from the underwater kingdom of Atlantica by King Triton.
Ariel's still young. That's something that is kind of brushed on in the movie. Is she's like, what, 12 in the original Little Mermaid?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So she's 11 and a half in this one, or
That's
what?
right. Yeah, her shells were not filled. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But the movie, in this movie, they kind of like, I forget what they said. It's like, there was something that, okay, I'm going to be honest. I was like half watching this movie because it's so terrible. But there was a moment where there's some reference was made, and I was just like, she's not much older in the other movies.
No.
It just kind of points to that.
No, she's a teenager.
You were going to say something, I think.
I love how, just two things. The title screen had way too many words on it. It was like sign hell, and I was already in a bad mood based on that. And then in the opening narration, Sebastian says something about King Triton being beloved for being like a good leader, but who would still like a guy who bans music? That's tyranny. Come on, guys.
Well,
Sound of Music.
He made the trains run on time. So,
That's right.
he did some good things.
Finally, this film was released by Walt Disney Walt Disney Studio Home Entertainment on August 26, 2008. So we're looking at like it's only the 31st of August. So this is an anniversary. Though the critical reception was improved over its predecessor, Little Mermaid 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have 100% rather watched that movie.
The film received mostly negative reviews that criticized the score, while the animation, screenplay, and voice performances were praised.
Well,
because the cast, ladies and gentlemen, Jodie Benson back as Ariel herself.
Everyone was doing their best to not sound like the original voice.
I know,
but
even though
yet
they were.
Many of them were the original voice.
Yeah, like Samuel Wright, Sebastian. Didn't sound anything like
Sebastian. I thought
Sebastian.
for sure it was just some guy
Me
that
too.
was selling hot dogs at Disney World. There's you could kind of sound vaguely.
Come over here. Or like won some kind of contest. But Jim Cummings, all-star.
Yeah.
He's King Triton. Thank you. And he definitely was the very Jim Cummings Triton.
He went,
all of
exactly.
all of the like half of the Mermaid sisters are voiced by Tara Strong, and half of them are voiced by Grey Delisle, which is really fun.
That's right. Yeah. And finally, inexplicably, Sally Field.
I think that's quite explicably, because her career hasn't been, let's see, Sally Field. Let me look up her IMDb.
She's done a lot of stuff, but her character's name was Marina Del Rey.
That was a cool name.
Anyway, Sally Field's a legend, man.
But she can't sing.
Well, clearly. She was Gidget.
Define. I'm not saying she's bad.
They really like her.
She has been good. She can be good, but like, it's really more longevity that I think. Because, so
she was both Tom Hanks' mother and Tom Hanks' girlfriend in two different films.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She was, she was Mrs. Gump.
Movies.
She was in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay, let's see. 1999.
The whole time.
So let's start with Forrest Gump. We're going to do post Forrest Gump. That's 1994.
PFG.
A Woman with Independent Means is the next one. Then Eye for an Eye, in which she is the lead in an action film that I don't think anyone remembers. Homeward Bound, Lost in San Francisco. Larry Sanders Show, King of the Hill. Murphy Brown, From the Earth to the Moon, A Cooler Climate, Where the Heart Is, David Copperfield, not the magician. Say It Isn't So, The Court, Legally Blonde 2, Conviction, made a guest appearance in ER, 2 Weeks, and then Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning. This is
her best.
A few years before The Amazing Spider-Man, which I remember everyone was like, oh, it's Sally Field. Remember her? She's good.
That's a good point, Dan.
Her career, she's been acting since like the Civil War. So
that's right.
she was Mrs.
Lincoln.
Right. Yeah.
I forgot about that too. She was Mrs. Lincoln.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the thing, is the only things I've ever seen her in are great movies.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any of the things you said.
Yeah. She's been in a bunch of slop as well, which is, no. So I have a lot of good actors. I mean, Christopher Walken's been in a lot of slop too. So I'm not knocking the lady for like making a living, but
you're saying this is not necessarily uncharacteristic based on her previous work since Mrs. Doubtfire.
I feel like the career choices are basically like, okay, here are your offers, and then she's like, okay, that, and if none of them are good, it's like, that one seems the easiest.
Well, do I have to leave the house?
Which is a fine way to manage your career.
Sure. So this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Many years before the events of The Little Mermaid. Many. I'm not sure how many is, but it's definitely 10 years before.
Yeah.
Because there's a 10-year jump in the movie. King Triton and his wife, Queen Athena. Now, Athena is, in fact, the Queen of Atlantis. Or is it Atlanta? I forget. It depends on...
Atlantica.
Atlantica, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about like legend and whatever. But anyway, so years before that, they rule over the underwater kingdom of Atlantica, filled with music and laughter.
Mm-hmm. Everything's great.
They have 7 young daughters: Atina, Alana, Adela, Aquata, Arista, Adrena, and the youngest, Ariel.
Audrey. Ariel.
Oh, you could fit right in.
Starts with an A. Why didn't they have anyone named Ariadne? Because that's a cool name.
That's a
great question.
Yeah.
Okay. Ariadne?
Why did they stick to the A thing?
That's
not this movie's fault.
No.
Yeah,
it started. I don't think it has anything to do with Hans Christian Andersen. I don't think there were 7 sisters. I don't know. One day,
kingdom for a son.
name him Aaron with 2 A's.
Do you think King Triton carried all of the eggs because he's like a seahorse?
Like a seahorse? I think that's very likely.
I think so.
I don't know much about mermaid reproduction.
He has some birth and hips, for sure.
I guess so. I don't know.
He carries them in their beard.
I don't like how he has brown hair. It looks strange.
Yeah, that 10 years was really hard on him.
I guess so. Maybe if he had a shorter beard, I'd be more keen on it. But he's just
shorter beard, brown,
too hairy up top.
Okay, I want to give this movie some compliments because I think that it's not deserving of many, but it is deserving of a couple. Because as soon as I saw him with the brown hair, I thought for sure there's going to be a moment where he says something along the lines of, "If you keep this up, you're going to make my hair go gray."
Yeah,
because and I'm surprised they didn't.
Yeah.
Also, I enjoyed his nipples. I found them interesting and exciting.
I did. I wish that the nipple hair would have also turned white.
That would have been fun.
Okay, so one day, while the mer people relax in a lagoon above the surface, King Triton gives Queen Athena a music box. However, the merfolk flee at the approach of a pirate ship.
Wait a minute. I just thought of something.
Tell us.
They were in the other people. They were in the human turf.
That's true.
So why? I'm more angry at this movie. I hadn't recognized this.
So they flee at the pirate ship. You know it's a pirate ship because the Jolly Roger gets flown. I was waiting for Jack Sparrow. I'm not gonna lie. That's the movie that we watched. Is a movie that would have an animated Jack Sparrow on the bow or something like that. We don't see any pirates. Anyway, everyone escapes except Queen Athena, who, while trying to recover the music box, is killed when the ship crashes into the lagoon. Devastated by his wife's death, Triton, having become bitter of music, throws the music box away and permanently bans music from Atlantica.
Okay, a couple things here.
Yes, please.
First off is the thing that I just now recognized, which is that they're in the human turf.
They are in the human world.
So it's kind of their fault. Then they should recognize that. Second, going after the music box, putting yourself in an imminent danger is stupid.
Yeah, she's
it was
like,
a special music box. I'm not defending this, Dan, but I will say it was a very special music box. Open it up, nothing there. And then magically, Triton and Athena dance around, play their song. It's their song.
Right.
They love music so much.
It's
they
so
couldn't live without music.
how about trying to live without a daughter? Like, what if her daughter was on the rock and she sacrificed herself to save one of her daughters and not a material object? That's why it's so stupid and senseless.
Like, maybe if it would make more sense if Ariel was trying to save the music box because she loves music so much.
That would have made a lot of sense.
Ariel, and then Ariel has that inherent guilt.
Right.
That would have been a better story.
That would have been
like that we're punching this up.
Yeah.
And also, why there's usually when someone forbids something or makes something this big, like this big of a deal, there's usually a connection to the action that caused the problem. So, like, if this were a boat full of like swarthy musicians that like were so caught up in music that they're like, I don't know how to steer anymore because music's so great, then maybe possibly it would make sense for Triton to go like, no music ever again. But it makes no sense narratively.
It's like in Sleeping Beauty if they banned sewing instead of sewing needles or spinning needles, right?
Or even, I would say even more fitting in that indirect way, it would be what I thought you were going to say, which is if they banned soap. It's like, let's just ban this thing, not at all connected to the danger at hand. It would make a lot more sense if they were like, okay, no mermaid is allowed to go up to the out of the to be part of their world, to be part of his world, to not be part of their world, and that would tie directly into the next movie where it's like we should have been not allowed to go there, and in fact, in The Little Mermaid, she shouldn't. This decision does not make sense, is what I'm trying to say.
No, it doesn't. And that was the beginning of the end. It was like, oh, this is the movie. This is what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And because you don't care, like none of it. You don't care about any of it. Like we said, if Ariel had done it anyway. So 10 years later, Ariel and her sisters, they live under a strict routine that's maintained by their governess, Marina Del Rey. Now, when Marina was first appeared on screen, I'm like, oh, they have a young Ursula that's their auntie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, like the same basic. She's purple. Mm-hmm. She's got the big, eyes or whatever. And then they're like, no, we can't make her Ursula.
Let's make her Mrs. Hannigan.
What's that?
Let's make her Mrs. Hannigan from Annie.
Yeah. Or the character design was, what's the one from
Yzma?
Emperor's Yzma. Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to ride on that coattail.
I think that this is, I'm glad we all caught on to that because I think that in typical Disney fashion, they caught on like 8 years later that like, hey, what if we do an Emperor's New Groove version of The Little Mermaid? But then it's completely tonally it's a absolute fustercluck of tone because it's like, let's do this silly thing. Let's have this manatee character that's kind of fun, but then like, we can't have too much fun. Well, I mean,
you're going a little fast and loose with the word fun.
The manatee character was like, so I'm still confused about this green blob that they decided to make the sidekick who has no personality.
No,
the manatee was the nut in the nut-filled turd for me.
But why is there a manatee? Do they live in Florida? I thought this was the Caribbean.
May as well.
It should be. Technically, it's the Nordic because that's where Hans wrote the story.
And aren't manatees freshwater mammals?
I don't know. I guess my point is that
let's not pull at this thread.
I guess my point was that like there was a fun thing happening where it's like, okay, why not just have a manatee character and let's have fun
was
with
manatee
that.
supposed to be Kronk?
I think so. I think that's what was supposed to happen. But then at the same time, I feel like the other half of the writer's room was like, no, we have to take anything involving Ariel very, very seriously. We can't have too much fun with this. Like if they were to say, let's just do Emperor's New Groove in like a Little Mermaid sausage casing, like that would be fine.
Did the Emperor's New Groove ruin animated films? Oh, no. I lost connection.
You're back.
You're back.
Okay. Did you hear my question?
Say it again.
No,
Did the Emperor's New Groove ruin animated movies?
No.
Oh, no.
I don't think it did.
I think it was the end of the Disney animation renaissance, but it didn't ruin it.
Well, see, now we get characters nonstop that are like weird and fourth wall breaking and kind of like coked out animation style where it's like, my face is really stretchy, but in some frames it's not as stretchy.
I get what you're saying. I think that it ruined it in the sense that like the management ruined it, where they were like, we need more of that, but without even understanding where that comes from.
Got it.
If it was a one-off, because it was really fun as the like, this isn't how Disney movies are supposed to be. Right. And if you leave it like that, it stays that thing. But when it becomes like, let's have every moment, like someone look at the camera and go, fart, like,
yeah,
that, then it just becomes new formula and it breaks the thing that was fun.
Mm-hmm. One could argue that this franchise is a modern day. They needed to treat it more specially because Little Mermaid was in fact the beginning of Disney's renaissance for animation. This was the beginning, and they should treat this character and franchise with more reverence. And they didn't. Like another example is Ariel's whole shtick in the original film was that she longed to be out there elsewhere. And she wanted to be a part of that world. And she collected human trinkets. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like none of that was anywhere to be found. And to your point, Dan, the events of this movie take place like a week before. Like it's
right.
It's not that long, but she has no proclivity for collecting. It's all about music, right?
Right.
She's no proclivity for collecting anything. Like could we throw in a thing where like, this is the beginnings of her kind of fascination with
human stuff.
She picks up the flute and she's like, "Oh, this is interesting," and like, something like, give me something that has anything to do with the character that we've known.
They forgot the first movie existed, basically. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and like this character it has a completely different personality.
You're right.
But anyway, the origin story of their friendship with Flounder. Anyway, we'll get into it.
She's fun. Okay. That's her character. She's fun.
All right,
she's the fun one.
She is. Well,
her sisters are stupid bimbos who like
all they want is a kiss.
Yeah, that's all they want.
They go for walks.
That's right.
That's their real duties.
And by the way, you know who else did that? The Von Trapps.
But they don't walk. They have. They should call it a swim. That's another thing from the first movie that they take out. She's like, what are the legs?
She doesn't even know what walking was.
Right. Yeah. But they say, let's go for a morning walk. Right. I was like, you guys.
She doesn't know what walking is.
This is like position A of the first movie. They didn't even watch the first movie before they started this.
No, they didn't.
It's very likely they didn't. I mean, let's be honest.
So Marina Del Rey, we're 30 seconds in. Okay. Her kindly assistant, Benjamin the Manatee, we spoke about. Marina hates being the girl's governess. Okay. This is something I did not catch. Doesn't like being the governess, but she longs to be King Triton's attaché, which was what Yzma was, right? Yzma.
Yeah.
And that job is currently filled by Sebastian the Crab, played by the original character.
Because he can't be a composer because music.
No music. So he can't be the. Right. That's right.
Right.
Ariel's frustrated by their current lifestyle, which brings her into arguments with her father. One day, Ariel encounters Flounder, a young tropical fish.
Hold on, you missed something. She tickles her sisters with kelp.
Kelp.
Yeah.
And King Triton gets mad.
He hates fun and says, music.
That's yes. It's that, and that's where I was just like, Jimmy better not have liked this movie because this is so stupid. Because it's just like, it's not just like, okay, the music thing, that's dumb. But then it's just like, no fun at all.
No fun.
It's like, dude, just
how is there even a city left?
Like,
this brings me back to the whole like, I'm a benevolent leader. No, you aren't, because you've made music illegal and you hate fun. All of your citizens would leave because that's stupid. How is there even a city of Atlantica?
I don't know if you noticed this when it's 10 years later in the time the movie mostly takes place. Everything's sepia tone, like there's no color.
Right.
And the castle doesn't. It's gold in the movie in the original, but it's like sepia tone. Everything
Why
doesn't
do
have
these
color
people
in it.
still live here? They're all prisoners.
Yeah, it's very drab.
They're serfs.
Again, it's the Sound of Music. That's all I'm saying.
This is an oppressive society.
Well, and this makes me wonder, how far is he a king of the entire ocean?
No, just Atlantica. It's like Pride Rock. It's like Mufasa, anything the light touches.
Okay, I want to go see the next town over because this place sucks.
Well, we kind of do.
Kind of, but it's still under his rule. It's like
I suppose, but when they get to that, I guess you're right. Okay, so she's frustrated by her lifestyle, brings her to arguments with her father. One day, Ariel encounters Flounder. She's overjoyed. So Flounder, she follows into an underground music club because, music's illegal.
Speakeasy.
Yep. So it's like a speakeasy.
Yeah.
So she's overjoyed by the presence of music and is shocked when she sees Sebastian performing there.
Okay, I kind of liked that. That was funny.
I did too.
Like,
it humanized, sorry, that's just a terrible way of putting it, but it humanized, for lack of a better term, Sebastian. He just likes music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all he wants.
We didn't talk about the villain song.
Oh no.
Is there one yet?
Yeah, I think it happened, didn't it?
There is.
Yeah, sorry. I did not take copious notes.
With the speakeasy, I was like, thank God they used Jump in the Line. I'm so glad this isn't an original song, because Sally Fields singing her villain motivation song, I think it's the worst villain song of all of the movies we've ever watched. She's like talk singing most of the time. There was music in the back, and her motivation is to attack Sebastian. Like, isn't this Ariel's movie?
She wants his job.
So the villain is like, I don't even care about the main character. And
that's fair.
Yeah. And it's even addressed later where she's like, oh, I didn't even think of that.
Oh, I'll just kill her. And it's like, what?
Speaking of afterthoughts, a lot of times the break is an afterthought for me, but I'm going to add it right here.
Oh.
Wow, that's a lot of shrimp.
At Red Lobster, for a limited time, enjoy 30 shrimp for just $10.99.
What sounds good to you folks tonight? 30 shrimp, please. Great choice.
With our famous fried shrimp, succulent scampi, lemon pepper shrimp, and delicious grilled shrimp. That's 4 different kinds. 30 shrimp on one plate, just $10.99. At only one place.
Only at Red Lobster.
And kids get shrimp too. A complete meal, just $2.99.
This episode is brought to you by United Airlines. When you want to make the most of your vacation, book with United. They're an airline that cares about your travels as much as you do. United is transforming the flying experience with Bluetooth connectivity, screens, power at every seat, and bigger overhead bins to help fit everyone's bag. And with their app, you can skip the bag check line, get live updates, and more. Change the way you fly. Book your next trip today at united.com.
Excuse me, I ordered fish.
That is fish. I think.
Why order fish when it ends up looking like a burger?
Hey, Fred, is this fish?
Introducing new seafood salad from Taco Bell. Fresh vegetables, tender bay shrimp, and a delicious blend of whitefish and snow crab. A refreshing change from anything on a bun.
If it's square, it's fish. If it's round, it's a burger.
New seafood salad from Taco Bell. The cure for the common meal.
Okay, there it was.
Hey.
The song you're thinking of is called Just One Mistake, Audrey.
That's it.
Just one mistake, which preceded Jumpin' the Line. Now, you're glad that it was Jumpin' the Line because it was an original song because the score is terrible?
Yes, I'm glad they did not use any. I'm glad they used Jumpin' the Line because it beats what they wrote for this movie.
And is it fair to say that really Jumpin' the Line inspired Under the Sea?
Probably.
And they wanted something for Sebastian to use his Caribbean, Jamaican-y, Harry Belafonte voice without having to write a new song.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just thrifty.
And I mean, I agree-ish, because, like, I don't want to hear that song over and over again. And we do hear it a lot.
Would you rather hear one mistake?
Well, I don't think it would be one mistake, but a one mistake-ish thing. I mean, I agree with you in a way, but I also feel like that's kind of Beetlejuice's song.
Yeah,
like from that movie.
100%.
So it's like, I mean, I think it's a bad move from like the filmmaker's point of view, like bad housekeeping. Like, I think you could have used really any other Harry Belafonte song.
That's
fair.
Mean,
he did more than just those two songs. In fact,
I mean, just play Under the Sea and change some lyrics, you know?
Beneath the ocean.
But I mean, they could sing Under the Sea, but instead of like the music is whatever, it doesn't have to be about air. I don't know. Anyway, so she's overjoyed by this. Her presence is revealed. The entire band stops playing and hides. Now, when she came upon it, this scene is very much analog to Under the Sea. Like, that's what this movie beat is, right?
Yes.
Bright colors, dancing. This is the Under the Sea segment. One thing I did like, because they all like hid, because they just assume that Ariel's going to tell her dad because she's the princess and like there's no music allowed to the speakeasy. One thing I did like was the effect of the octopus inking, which created a cloaking device of sorts. And they all knew how to swim through it and get away. And so she's, after the ink, cleared up, then it's just her by herself. Right? I kind of like that as a cloaking device. They practiced it, I guess is the point.
Yeah. There is a sense that they practiced it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, this later becomes
completely nullified when
the
governess is just like, oh, it's here.
Yeah.
How did she find it?
Right.
How did she? Who did
were
she
those things
follow?
from Star Wars? She had a holocron or
she had like a
wayfinder.
Wayfinder, yeah,
that's right. Yeah. She had a Sith wayfinder.
Oh my god, that was the dumbest part of this movie.
No, it'd be a kelp wayfinder.
I think it'd be a starfish, a dead starfish.
I hate this movie.
This movie's bad. It's really bad.
So, and then the big beginning, they had the guards, and there were two guards, different colors. They were the Flotsam and Jetsam of the movie.
I want to see these two eating donuts on their big long fin things.
Their big long fin, yeah. The swordfish is what they were, I think.
And
then why were there electric eels later?
Because there's electric eels in the other movie.
Yeah, but that was Flotsam and Jetsam,
right? Those were the two.
Scariest thing to a fish besides a net: electricity.
Funicello. I mean, and that brings up another thing. We could have had like Flotsam, the backstory of Flotsam and Jetsam. Like,
maybe they were in the band and they got kicked out and they got bitter.
I mean,
that would have been more interesting. Good.
It would have been.
And I don't think any of us are saying that like a Little Mermaid 3 needs to be made.
No.
But if you are going to make one, don't make it this.
That's right. I mean, if you're going to make it a prequel, again, tie in the original source material.
Right.
Why isn't Ursula their governess? Why not?
Or, maybe who hired these people in the first place? I got to ask.
Probably the mom.
Well, at this point, Ursula
that makes sense because
been...
the mom's an idiot and she's a materialistic dumb fish. Maybe she hired
that's where
these
the sisters
idiots.
Get it.
Well, okay. I think
like
the older.
nipples.
I thought the sisters were fine. Some of them are a little ditzy, yes, but they didn't make them too stupid. Like the oldest sister has responsibilities and she's responsible.
Right, yeah.
And when the sisters finally get to go to the nightclub, I like that they made some of them super happy to be there and some of them like, I feel nervous about
one
this.
One couldn't dance. One wanted a boy. One wanted to play.
I think for me, it was just more like the complete inconsistency of tone. Like sometimes they were just like vapid and annoying, and then other times they're like, oh yeah, we actually have a character, and it's like I almost feel like again I can almost feel the the groups in the cliques in the writing room or in the production staff where they're like, okay, what if we explore the dynamic between the sisters? And then the other side of the table is like, yeah, but what if they're like the stepsisters from all those Cinderella sequels that people love so much?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, kind of. And it's like the character development is that one has blonde hair.
Right. It's shapes and colors again.
This one has pokey things out of her head, and that one's got brown hair.
And then when they're supportive and rational, it's like they turn on a dime where there's like, yeah, Ariel, we've hated you more than ever now.
We
like,
pretty much hate you. Thank you for introducing music back to our lives to make us happy again. You're the devil.
Yeah.
It's just as inconsistent as the animation quality.
The whole thing is inconsistent. Everything.
Speaking of which,
movie.
when it's all pretty much hand drawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, but then when they have the computer animation,
the music box thing,
so
yeah. At the end, the music box thing is like, whoa, it's jarring.
So there's a scene that I had to replay over and over because the animation was so awful. It was when Ariel discovers that Sebastian is the singer. She goes, Sebastian? But like the animation, her face, the frames were so confusing and bad. That's when I was like, oh, this is not good. This is really, really bad. And then she's singing her like my want song, and like they did like a profile for a minute, and like it's like a third grade was drawing a profile for the first time, but then it cuts to like the governess who's like, whoa, you know.
And by the way, how does she sing? How does she suddenly sing well? Like that, there should have been at least a half second or something of her going, you know, something.
She's never done it.
Yeah, just something. Some small
thing. I remember
the
name of that song, by the way.
Okay, that was forgettable. It wasn't so bad that I hated it. It was just
okay.
Like, this is the least worst part of this movie.
I remember not the same tune as the mom and dad's song?
Think so.
I don't know.
Which is Athena's song, "Endless Sky" was the name of that. But I remember just felt like a lot of
because they live in the ocean.
Endless Sky. Yeah, well, see, there was Endless Sky, and she was looking at said Endless Sky when she got hit by a boat.
It should have been "We can pee anywhere we want in the ocean."
Right. I love that. Let's write that.
Our world is our toilet.
Right. By the way, there were moments when it was like really emotional, and this movie, I think this movie is just so bad that like I just went on these like side quests trying to find anything interesting where I'm just like, so if she did start crying, we wouldn't be able to see it.
Yes,
no, it's true.
I thought the same thing.
Or do you think do you think that mermaids cry sand?
Oh, maybe they cry bubbles.
That's right.
That would be funny.
But no. To be fair,
I'm picturing like Studio Ghibli animating that because they animate tears so nicely. But like seeing it float upwards.
She's crying so much. Yeah, regular jacuzzi. She's crying so much.
I'm not crying. Someone just put air on my face.
That's right. But now Dan Arrow does remember music because she was cognizant. She was aware of her mother. So she knew music. She used to sing.
But even, okay, Jimmy, you have sung in a previous life, right?
Yes.
If you were to just like get up in front of a bunch of people and say like, and they were like, okay, now Jimmy's going to sing us a very difficult Billy Joel song.
Yeah.
It would be rough, right? You wouldn't be able to like jump right into it. Maybe like sometime around the bridge or whatever. It would be like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's fair. because
from a
she sings that
character
song.
perspective, it would have added a lot more to the song if she started off singing weakly. It's like Suddenly Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Like Audrey's singing of like, I'm soft and afraid. And then towards the end, she's belting it powerfully.
Well, and it adds to her character development in the Little Mermaid, the original version, where like her voice is such a big deal.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know what would have made this? That's a good point, Dan. Again, no continuity. You know what would have made this movie better?
There is continuity, and it's the worst part of the movie. It's the storyline
with the music. Yeah,
the like we're gonna because that who cares honestly because I've seen the other movie. I know this is gonna change.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Audrey, to your point, I think what it would have made this movie better is if she actually sang "Suddenly Seymour." Like that would have made more sense.
I mean, make it a jukebox musical at this point,
right? You already did. You got to jump in the line for God's sake.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this song that she sings is about her love of music and the remembrance of her mother, and that and then she's accepted as a member of the club after she swears the oath of secrecy. Right. Because they hear her sing and they're like, "Oh, she's cool.
She
sings like us."
If this was a B plot, it wouldn't have been awful. Sure. It wouldn't have made sense, but it wouldn't have like haunted me the entire. It felt like 3 hours I was watching this movie.
It didn't feel long.
Okay, so Ariel returns to the palace, and her sisters confront her over her disappearance. She explains where she was, and that following night, the girls go with her to the club, and they have a good time.
Girls' night!
Marina finds them instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Ariel goes through this series of tunnels and like secret codes and secret knocks.
She literally has to follow Flounder, who, by the way, is a completely different character in this movie.
Totally different character.
Like, you may as well be Asher.
Flounder is Asher. Confirmed?
A lot of people are saying it.
Everyone's saying it. Yeah. I mean, and that would have been maybe an interesting thing is like maybe have the manatee like was a former member of like this calm, docile character.
Yeah,
like,
I know how to get in. Begrudgingly, I'll take you, even though because I used to be one of them. And,
I thought Benjamin was gonna double cross Sally Fields.
No,
he
never does.
Could have been a hero.
It would have added something funny. I just loved how passive he was. I thought it was, I enjoyed it, and it would have added a funny layer for him to be like, yeah, how much of a partier I was back in the day, like
very soft-spoken manatee, gentle giant,
or just to see him at the club already, like,
oh yeah, dancing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she follows him there. Like on. Anything other than just like, hey, I just happened to find this.
Yeah. So she finds them, and then she reports their activities to King Triton, who destroys the club with his trident.
Mm-hmm.
Another reason, yeah, what an idiot. I hate this
guy. Then Sebastian, Flounder, and the band are all sent to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and then at that point, Marina's given the Sebastian's position, which means she will change the rules of Atlantica the next morning. The girls are confined to the palace as punishment. Okay.
She changed the rules just like she changes her outfit because she likes clothes. Like, that's her other weird thing.
That's her thing. She likes to change clothes. A fun gag, I guess, was that the prison doors are like coral, but every one of those creatures could swim through the holes in said. I mean,
that's.
It would be fun in a movie that embraced more of its inherent ridiculousness.
Yeah, because there was no lock on the door either.
Right.
There was a lock.
Push it open.
Because Ariel uses a rock to smash it.
Oh, okay.
So it's an ineffective lock.
It was dumb. So the girls are confined to the palace. They can't go anywhere. Okay, so that night, Ariel frees her friends and leaves Atlantica. Sebastian leads them to the deserted place far away from the palace, where Ariel finds Queen Athena's music box.
Yeah.
Okay. So they make their way, they're just trudging through, and they find this big open abyss
Just happens to, by the way. Just happens to find it.
Well, yeah, okay. So, yes, they happen upon this thing that's got good acoustics, I guess. They all assume Sebastian's lost, but he led them there specifically not so that he could find the music box,
right?
So that Ariel could happen upon the music box for herself.
So he's been living this secret life for 10 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, because Ariel's the main, here's the thing. I figured it out. Sebastian knows that he's a supporting character, and he has to wait until the main character in the movie has a reason for to care about music.
Yeah.
By the way, another missed opportunity. Ariel totally could have found the music box and gone "Oh, I can add this to my collection."
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe she finds it earlier in the movie and then has to come back to it when they realize it's important.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But so that's the other thing about the character. The relationship between Sebastian and Ariel is so, in the first movie, they're sworn enemies. They're not speakeasy prison breakout buddies.
Right.
They don't sing an a cappella version of Jump in the Line with seizure-inducing cuts.
That was weird.
I hated that.
That was really weird.
God. And I was almost starting to like the movie a little bit more for some reason. I think it was because the governess's celebration.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yes, that too. And it was late and I was tired and I was like, okay, their manipulative tools are working on me. But no, it went away after that again.
I mean, what are the stakes in this?
There are none.
There are no stakes.
Maybe I was going to make a, what do they call
there
those?
Are swordfish steaks.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what character growth is there in? Maybe Triton, but that's it. It's sort of just we flipped a switch and now he's not terrible.
Now he's
happy.
But
he always has the potential to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so she finds the music box as Sebastian had hoped. Ariel, Flounder, and Sebastian decide to return to Atlantica. The friends stay behind because I don't know why.
No, I stop Marina. So why would you go back to
Flounder can do?
Why would you go back to that city? That place sucks.
Right.
That's fair. But what is it that Mariana was going to change about the city?
I don't know. I think it's just she just wanted a promotion. Which again, if you're going to play up the ridiculousness of the movie and the situation, that could have worked. If you make it into this purely just just making fun of the bureaucracy within the kingdom, within the groundwork, within the framework of everything about this is silly. And I think the real issue is that at some point, one sect of the writer's room was what? We can't make Ariel funny. What are you talking about? We can't possibly do that. She's a girl.
Girls aren't funny unless they're ugly. Then they can be funny.
Then they can be hilarious.
That's right.
Only if they're evil.
That's right. So anyway, they go back to stop Marina and Benjamin from changing the laws, I guess. And then they bring the music box to King Triton, hoping that it will change his mind, as he's not remembered how to be happy after Queen Athena's death. He doesn't know how to be happy, guys.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Maybe he just needs a few brews with his bros and a round of golf.
Oh, we'll get to that in a minute.
Hold on, I found a better segue. If you, listener, would like to figure out a way for yourself to be happy, here's the actual ad break for something that will make you extremely happy. And maybe it's Blue Chew.
I hope it's ice cream.
I hope it's Audrey's sister doing the ad read. Meanwhile, King Triton, welcome back. King Triton is informed that Ariel is missing, and he orders his guards to find her.
For Baskin Robbins ice cream.
Marina, wanting to retain her position, releases her electric eels to hunt down and eliminate Ariel and Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Why don't they use the electric eels to have electric things in their city and, get into the industrial age.
Ooh.
They could grow this economy, but they choose not to.
The eel
Why?
matrix.
Yeah, Marina didn't have. She had an "I Want" song, I guess, but what she wanted to change clothes. Like, what does she want?
Maybe she said in her song, but I was too
promotion?
upset to pay attention.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think to answer your question, the eels are there because they wanted. Maybe at some point they're like, nothing here ties into the original movie except for the characters. Eels.
Eels.
I guess.
I've got a good ealing about this idea.
You know what would have been good? A fun little funny would be if the eels who clearly love Marina, if they were like loving on her and swimming around her, and if she said, "They like me, they really like me," that'd been funny.
It would have
a great joke.
In a movie full of other jokes, it would have been a joke that would have worked. Like, yeah.
All right, we're almost done. Ariel and her friends are confronted by Marina on their way back, and struggle ensues. Ariel's friends defeat Marina's eels just as King Triton arrives. Marina barrels towards Sebastian and tries to kill him,
and they have
Ariel blocks her way.
Wonderful fight in which Sebastian's a ninja.
That's right.
I think I was on my phone when this was happening because it was so boring.
They were trying to cut seaweed, and the seaweed wasn't seaweed because it was the eels.
Yeah.
And then the net, and then I don't know. There was a net.
Yeah. I had to pause this movie at some point, and I forget why. And I had a time scrape, where you're like, okay, surely the movie is almost over.
Yeah.
I just can feel it narratively. On whatever loose thread of a narrative there is. I just feel like the movie is almost over, and I paused it and I looked at it. It's like halfway through.
Yeah. Well, it's take for a lot of time.
The credits do take a lot of time, but still it was sad. And then I had to pause it again for some reason. And every time
there was more time left, the movie had to be paused again.
Right. No, but every time, like I've done this before with these movies where it's just like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to stop what I have to stop. There's that feeling of like, okay, I have to stop what I'm doing because I have to finish this other thing. This time, every single time, it's like I would just get drawn into anything. Like even as boring stuff as like making sure that my job title on my email address was correct. Like stuff that I would normally avoid doing. I was finding way more interesting. And then 5
Sounds
minutes,
like the writers of this movie.
Right. And then 5 minutes after I would finish that, I would then be like, okay, well, I guess I'm ready. And I have to finish. It's like that group. It's like a group project in school that you're like, okay, I said that I had been working on this part of it for like a month now.
You gotta pull your weight.
And I have to finally pull my weight, and I have like 2 hours to pull it all together. It was that feeling every single time they had to restart the movie.
My kid came in, his friend wants to go to our town center on their bikes. And I'm like, because I started this thing like an hour and a half before we started recording.
Right.
Like, I have to get through this movie. Anyway, it might have continued to play while I went to help him. Okay. So Ariel stops Marina's like whatever to kill Sebastian. Ariel blocks it, and she got hit in the process, and she falls. Apparently, she's dead, guys. We all thought. There was some really tense moments where I thought she was dead.
There was so much blood. It was crazy. The animators went to town on that.
Sharks.
Of course,
appear.
King Triton started swimming. And they're like, no, she just got her first period.
Oh, my God.
Sorry.
On the account of her being so incredibly young,
That's right. King Triton sees it. He blames himself, of course. He, having a change of heart and making the bitterness of music go away, his bitterness of music, sings to Ariel, and she revives. The two of them reconcile. After that, music is soon restored to Atlantica after 10 years. Marina and Benjamin are imprisoned in the dungeon. by King Triton as punishment for their crimes. Sebastian is appointed Atlanta's first official court composer, and everyone celebrates. The end.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Okay, capital punishment exists in Atlantica. Do they just toss them on top of a rock and like chain them down to the rock?
Were they in the original movie?
It's true. No. I mean, based on movie logic,
slice and dice, just like off with their heads.
Well, she was in prison. You know, she likes to change outfits. She was in a black and white striped outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she went in a sewer, and that's how we get Mermaid in the manhole.
Oh, jeez.
Whoa.
You think?
No, she's not beautiful enough to be painted. Or does that make the story more interesting?
Maybe she got bit by something, and she became Ursula.
No.
Too different.
Because she's not voiced by Pat Carroll.
She was bit by like eat everything in sight fish.
Mm.
Oh, but if you put a manatee and Marina together, they make an Ursula. Maybe they made it.
Could be.
Or I'm thinking of ways that she could die. Like she got food poisoning from like people food.
Where did the tentacles come from?
You know how people can get sick of like raw seafood? Maybe she had some raw chicken.
Exactly.
Oh.
Or I like where you're going, where the tentacles come from. Maybe she was exposed. Maybe, oh God, okay, I figured it out.
Nuclear waste.
No, even better. King Triton is the person who created the black goo from the Alien franchise. And
wow, this is getting someplace.
Marina was exposed to the black goo, and her body, she mutated into Ursula.
But wait, didn't we find out in the second one that Ursula was King Triton's sister?
I
think we found that out in Cinderella or Little Mermaid 2 Return to the Sea.
Ursula's been here the whole time. She's just doing what? She's on Rumspringa?
She's enslaving other people.
Yeah, she's
collecting souls.
She goes off as a human, and if she wants to come back, then she can. Well, and yet, wasn't she in the story? Wasn't she like an excommunicated witch for the like? She worked for Triton before,
That's
right?
So
she would have been around, and like, as much as I'm not a fan of having, let's have new reasons to have Pat Carroll be the voice. Nothing against her. It's just, it gets old. It would have made sense. What if this could have totally been a story where we see how Ursula becomes evil.
And Dan, you know what? If John Lasseter had not hugged animated sequels, we would 100% have gotten Ursula's origin story. 100%. Think about, you got Cruella, you've got Maleficent.
Yeah, who's to say it's not all these still origin in the stories?
Maybe. Could be live action. Pat Carroll's still alive.
No, she's not. Is she?
Oh, well, in our hearts.
Maybe that's for the live action actors to voice.
Yeah. Anyway, it'll happen. There was already a live action Little Mermaid. Why not? There's a prequel to Lion King called Mufasa. Scar's going to be in it, obviously.
Ugh.
All right, I'm so tired. Here's the thing, guys.
July 30th, 2022 is when
we're going to get drunk. We have a special guest on the show.
On the phone.
That has been on the phone. She's been on hold this whole time. But when we found out that this movie was animated by Disney Toon Australia, we wanted to get her on the line. First of all, before we get her on the line, the beer we're going to drink is from Mount Brewing Company, and that Mount Brewing Company is in Maunganui, Australia. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's called Mermaid's Mirth APA. That's an American Pale Ale. Mermaid's Mirth. Here to tell us about it, our fellow podcaster, Sheila from Australia. Sheila, tell us about Mermaid's Mirth APA.
I told you. No, close that door. Oh, sorry, mate. I was just talking to Cheryl.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Sheila.
How you boys doing?
Really good.
Great. Well,
Say hi to Audrey.
Thanks for keeping me waiting. I've been here for the whole time you've been gabbing on. Right, we're talking about beer.
In a few years, this movie's going to come to your country.
That's right.
And so excited. Beer. We've just
I don't recommend that you watch it.
No? Well, all right then. We've just received Toy Story, the first one, and that's an incredible film. I loved it.
It is good.
So, right, here's the beer. Our Mermaid's Mirth is a bit of a local legend here in Mount Maunganui. Generously packed with American hops where Citra, Simcoe and Chinook deliver a citrusy flavour and aroma supported by a clean and crispy body. Exceptionally easy drinking for 6%. She may be legendary, but comes with a cautionary tale. Get it?
Tail.
Get it, right?
I get it. Like the mermaid has the tail.
Yeah. Cheryl, you've got a mer tail, haven't you? Cheryl.
Is she in the bathtub with some salt water?
Yeah, she does this once a week. It's good for her skin. I find it dries out my skin a little bit, but, that's different strokes for different folks. That's what I always say.
That's right. Speaking of strokes, swimming. Get it? Swimming strokes?
Yeah,
I see what you did. Hey, Sheila, have you had this beer?
I have not, no. I drink Foster's exclusively.
Hold on, when did...
we have a sponsorship with them. They send us abroad to the US for improv shows. I don't think we've got one coming up anytime soon, but if we do, I'll give you boys a free ticket.
Oh, thank you. Do you know the actor who plays Bluey?
Bluey? No.
Do you not have Bluey yet?
No.
I don't think we have
we have the
which
color
is really
blue.
ironic.
We have the color blue.
Even things that are made in Australia currently won't be in Australia for like 20 years.
Crocodile Dundee just came out.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Sheila, thank you for joining us on the. You can hang out now. I know that the tolls are very high.
All right, yeah. I'll just invoice you later if that's all right.
She's on a payphone.
Cheryl.
She's on a payphone.
Anyway, yeah. Well.
All right. Well, thank you, Sheila.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
All right. You too.
Good day, mate.
Good day. Okay, so that's funny. What we're gonna drink. She is funny. Yeah. Anyway, Audrey, do you know what we're going to be eating while we're watching this movie?
Yes, you guys. I'm so glad we watched this movie. I watched this movie last night right after having dinner in PB with my mom and her friend because my mom's coming to visit. And I just want to tell you both about the best fish restaurant in San Diego, and that is The Fishery. I've been there 5 times now. Every single meal has been so fantastic. This is not a bit. I'm trying to spread the word. Everyone should go to this restaurant. Last night we had a grilled Pacific bone-in sword chop, which has shawarma spice, mahamara, parsley tomato salad, and pita, grilled pita. And we also had one of the specials, which was like a tuna tartare. That was really good. I've been there. The last time I went, they did a tuna piccata, which was like a big smashed piece of tuna with like piccata sauce. It was so good. My mouth is watering right now just thinking about it. We also got and
I do think it's appropriate because it's seafood.
Yeah, it was perfect. Anyway, go to this restaurant or Cellar Hand in Hillcrest, both amazing fish spots.
The Fishery
in PB.
And what's PB? That's
Pacific
Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I've been sitting on a beach. I'm going to sit on the beach immediately after this, and
sweet.
I'm going to think about how awful this movie was, but how delicious the food is at The Fishery. This is not sponsored, but sponsor me.
Dan?
Not yet.
We should get them to sponsor.
Dan, musically, I have two choices, which is fitting. They're both going to be relatively quick. So I have been obsessed with Barry Manilow's songs about music. And it's a thing that people like look at me and they're like, what are you talking about? But he had this weird thing. He's dead, right? Where he would write songs that are about music in some way. You got Copacabana, the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy thing, the like, like it was a thing that he would do too much. And yes, I'm going here. It's a little song about him writing the songs. It's called I Write the Songs. And it's a song about Barry Manilow, who writes songs. Because it's a song that he wrote. And if he were to do something like this once, it'd be cute. He's been alive forever. He is music. Fun fact, if you want to do this song at karaoke, I highly recommend that you make it a tribute song about Barry Manilow, and you just change I to he.
That's really good.
Pat did die, by the way.
Okay, yeah. And then at the end, very end, when it says I am music and I write the songs, you just change it to he's Barry Manilow and he writes the songs.
Yeah. He's still alive, by the way.
What?
He's 81.
How is that possible?
Well, if he dies, then you can sing the song. And he said he was Barry Manilow. He wrote the songs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, cool. So, okay, you all get the bit. There's another thing, something else that I thought of when I was watching this, which was there's a severe tonal problem throughout this entire movie. Mm-hmm. And that made me think of a certain band called Mr. Bungle, who you may or may not be familiar with. This is Platypus by one of my favorite albums, from one of my favorite albums, Disco Volante by Mr. Bungle. It'll speak for itself shortly, and why I chose it.
Is it about Mermaid?
I'm a little afraid. Where is it going to go?
That's kind of what Mr. Bungle does.
Just like the movie.
So Mr. Bungle does. First of all, every album's different. So,
oh,
Dan,
this is in it.
This is Mike Patton from Faith No More. This is his main or original band. They just got together and they're all very, very skilled musicians. There's like, let's do something where we give everyone like whiplash the entire time. And it goes from like death metal to klezmer and like everything in between. And it's on purpose.
Yeah. It's like jazz. It's the notes you don't play.
It's sort of, yeah. And having struggled with this album and this band, I think the trick is it's sort of like when listening to Philip Glass, you can't fight the repetition. You have to lean into the repetition, and then it unfolds. You're like, oh, there's so much more here. Same thing with this. If you try to fight the back and forth nature of it, you're going to lose.
Lovely. Yeah.
That's something.
Great. Thank you, Dan.
It is something.
All right. This movie was terrible.
Mm-hmm. Is it the worst?
No, come on.
It's
I will
there.
remind you.
I would rather watch Belle's Magic.
No, stop it.
I think I would. In fact, I think we should rewatch it.
Oh my God.
As the final, after we go through the Tinkerverse, we should rewatch it to see if it actually is the worst.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I guess I would submit myself to that.
Okay, so Tinkerverse, but there is an interruption in the Tinkerverse. Okay.
There's a disturbance in the Tinkerverse.
There's a disturbance in the verse, which was Tigger and Pooh and a musical too. So Tinkerbell, Tigger and Pooh, Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure, Tinkerbell and the Great Fairy Rescue, Secret of the Wings, directed by the same person who directed this movie, The Pirate Fairy, and finally Tinkerbell and the Legend of the Never Beast, which was 2015.
I feel old.
Everything after 2015, everything got so much better in the world.
That's true.
because these animated features ended. So that's it, guys. That's we're almost there. We still have to figure out how we're going to handle the Tinkerverse. We're coming up upon the fall. Dealer's Choice is coming up.
I say we should let's try to finish the Tinkerverse before Dealer's Choice.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wow.
Anyway, so thank you both. Always a pleasure. We have other shows on the network. The Supreme Resort, obviously. Ears Up, and now there's a new one. The Buena Vista Boys, where they in no way took our idea, and they're reviewing the live-action films, not the live-action sequels, the live-action original IP Disney stuff. And then there's the Puny Pod guys. They're talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's the Star Wars guys, the Bantha Milk podcast, and I'm sure there's more. And also Concierge. Bowie-splaining, of course. Mm-hmm. Not on the network, but also a wonderful podcast. And, for our friend Eric, the Hub Crawl. Concierge is a Disney vacation planning service where you don't have to do anything. They'll do it for you, and they'll tell you stuff. And you don't have to pay them.
Oh, no.
Disney will pay them. And I'm so tired. We're going to go now. Thanks for listening.
Too much.
Until next time, be kind.
Be kind and rewind.
Rewind.
Now Gorton's brings two great American favorites together in a whole new way. My fish covered by a real French fried crust made from his potatoes. Introducing Gorton's new Potato Crisp fish sticks and fillets. They're mild-tasting, flaky white fish with a light, crisp French fried crust with bits of real potatoes. Your whole family will love Potato Crisp. It's a whole new taste experience from Gorton's. Delicious.
Trust the Gorton's fishermen from Gorton's of Gloucester.
Fried shrimp, please. Shrimp cocktail, please.
If you never get enough shrimp and don't get crab legs very often, now get all the shrimp, seafood, and crab legs you want at Big Boy. Peel and eat shrimp, fried shrimp, and now new crab legs. The Big Boy Shrimp, Seafood, and Crab Bar. All you can eat, just $9.95. Finally, enough shrimp and crab. There's more to love at Big Boy.
My name is Jennifer. I am a crawfish. I live at Seafood City, 1826 North Road. You can come down and get some of my friends just like me at Seafood City, 1826 North Road. Seafood City, very pretty, 1826 North Road.
That's Seafood City, 1826 North Road.
What do you love about Bayside Seafood Grill and Bar?
The fresh seafood.
The view. Fun atmosphere.
The view. Great food with friends.
And the view.
Bayside Seafood Grill and Bar at the Village on Venetian Bay, serving fresh local seafood, prime steaks, and pasta with amazing waterfront views. Open daily for lunch and dinner.
At Bristol Seafood Grill, we offer the freshest premium seafood, prime steaks, and an impressive wine selection. General Manager Skip Strode and Executive Chef Matt Owens and their team use the freshest ingredients to create dishes that are masterfully grilled to perfection. Come visit us today and enjoy our great food, seamless service, and a classic upscale atmosphere.
Start your day with only one question. Battered or breaded? At Captain Dave's, you can have both. Using only the freshest ingredients. Our employees are happy and excited to help. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Fried and tasty. Food for the kids. Comes with a free Looted Treasure Pirate toy. With over 2 locations. Local ale. All of your fried seafood needs. Make every day a Captain Dave's Day. Follow the Captain's song.
Captain Larry's Seafood makes you hungry just thinking about it. And you know you can't stop doing that. You can almost taste the baby flounder. Tender, flaky, seasoned just right, and so affordable you'll be tempted to order two. You just can't beat those hush puppies either. And the ribeye sandwich at lunch is tops. Those lightly dusted shrimp, deep fried to perfection. And those scallops. Only at Captain Larry. So, I'll be seeing you there, right? I thought so.
Think you can't find great late-night food in Naples?
You don't know Jack!
Think you can't hear great live music?
You don't know Jack.
Jack's Seafood Bar and Grill is the place for late-night food and fun. We offer a full menu until last call with award-winning seafood, sandwiches, burgers, wings, and more. Jack's is the place to hear the best local bands with no cover. Enjoy nightly drink specials at our full bar. Watch your favorite sports on our 38 HD TVs. It's all here at Jack's on US 41 in Imperial Square Plaza across from Germain Toyota.
Dinner decision got you down? Come on down to KC Seafood with 2 convenient locations here in Houston, where you'll find a variety of food so good your taste buds will sing. Choose from our great combos or order a la carte. Call 713-455-4129 for more information.
Hey, over here! We are open for business! I said... Oh, I was saying that even though the flea market's closed, Mattress Magic is open 7 days a week.
Mattress Magic is your one-stop bedding discount outlet. We feature Restonix Ambiance mattress with a lifetime warranty.
Time to buy a mattress before dawn, but it can cost me an arm and a tooth.
No problem. Mattress Magic delivers 24 hours a day. Mattress Magic is located at the U.S. #1 flea market on Route 1, New Brunswick.
At the Ray Rice Martial Arts Center, 5th degree black belt and master instructor Ray Rice has developed a dynamic and positive program for ages 5 and up. Students learn respect and discipline in a nonviolent and drug-free environment and gain self-confidence, courage, and physical fitness. Be more positive and successful in all areas of life. Take advantage of our back-to-school introductory program. Receive 2 introductory lessons and a traditional uniform for only $19.95. Call or come by today for an appointment.
Hi, Dr. Scaramouche. I examined the crawfish. Oh, you all right? Oh, you're nice. Oh, look at this. Oh, you're nice. Oh, this is cardiac arrest. No good. Brush your teeth.
Seafood City is a very pretty down on St. Bernard.
Seafood City, 1826.
6 North Road.
Gaston, look at this. This is my trip to the Mississippi Gulf of the Coast. And that's the Biloxi Lighthouse. But Gaston, you ain't never saw nothing like Chappie's Seafood Restaurant in Long Beach, no. There's that cook Chappie. He wear a big, tall, white hat. I could see that boy now, sauteing them shrimp and garlic and mix him in that butter and them other Cajun spice. Whoo, yeah, I made myself hungry. And that's why everybody loves to eat at Chappie's. Gaston, you better head for the Marsh Shack, because Chappie's going to be after your tail.
There's lots of alternatives to using drugs.
Fishing. Reading. Sports. Movies. Computers. Cooking. Magic. Bowling.
Choose one.
Be smart. Don't start.